Hello. Um, been several days since I've talked to you. Um, what I want to talk to you about today is a pretty rough subject for a lot of people. I'm going to talk about suicide. And I'm sure you may, like many people in the world, believe that people that commit suicide go to hell. It's not true. It is not true. You only go to hell if you have not accepted Christ as your Savior and ask Him to save you from that eternal death, which is hell. It has been 10 years today since my dad took his own life. My stepmom had cancer and she died, and then 3 weeks later, he did. He just couldn't take it. They're soulmates, and he just felt lost, and he struggled with depression his whole life. So yeah, he's been depressed his whole life, and then my dad and my stepmother were both addicts to opiates. I believe it started when they would, hand out opiates like candy, which has made it hard for us that have chronic pain get it, to actually need it. But anyway, they did get in trouble for stealing medication from, it was just one charge. And then they did drug court. Drug court is a thing where you have to, it's a very, very strict and regimented program. You have to call in every morning, and it's just randomly, they'll let you know who needs to take a drug test today. I don't know if they have classes every day, but I mean, it is grueling, and it's for, I can't remember how long it's for, but if you screw up, if it's a minor screw up, they send you to jail for a day or two. Big screw ups, of course, would get their suspended sentence. You'd be going to prison instead of that suspended sentence that they gave you when they gave you the option to go to drug court. And they did amazing. They were everybody's favorite. They never screwed up. It was hard to see my dad after he was arrested. He came. They let us see him in a big room. Usually you're supposed to be one-on-one through the glass, but they let us see him in a big room all together. And he was detoxing so bad he could barely walk. He was shaking like he was having a seizure. We had to get him set down. It was rough. It was really rough seeing that, when, I love my dad. He's hilarious. He was everybody's favorite uncle. He'd joke around with people all the time, and he kind of reminded me of Robin Williams, and that's how Robin Williams died too. So then we found out that my stepmom had gotten cancer, and she was doing good for a while, but then it started going downhill again. She was at hospice at home for 5 girl, love you. She was on hospice at home, but I was staying out there, or going out there every day. I can't remember if I ever spent the night there or not, but it came up that Dad had drank her liquid Ativan, and before that, it's when she had the pain pills for cancer that they both, became addicts again. Of course, she needed it. I'm not saying that my dad didn't have pain, because I have so many autoimmune diseases that cause chronic pain. Maybe he did too, because it could be hereditary. But yeah, they both became addicts again. And after graduating early from drug court, because she found out she had cancer, they had them, because they hadn't been in trouble. They'd done perfectly through it. They had them, graduate early. And like I said, she got bad. And then after Dad did that, first I called the hospice lady, and she said that she would call the ambulance or the police or something for me, so I didn't have to. But I had to be the bad guy to, call her. Because, we can't just leave it. She needs her Ativan too. So they just checked him out. They didn't take him to jail or anything. They just took him to the hospital to check him out. He was fine. He had such a tolerance for drugs. It's unreal. He told me, I can't believe it was, I can't remember if it was 20 or 20 to 30. I don't know if he did Oxy. I'm sure he did to get a hold of it. 20 to 30, like, Vicodin and something else a day. I was like, geez, which Vicodin is hydrocodone. It's an opiate. But anyway, so yeah, they moved her to my house on hospice, which was better because it was more open and everything for everybody to come visit her. And then when everybody had gone up to Erico, I think to get cigarettes and something to drink, or I don't know, but it was just me and one of my aunts there. And that's when I was sitting right by her side, and that's when she passed. And Dad just, I think she was holding on to see if he was okay, and finally got him to tell her that it's okay to go. He'll be okay. Of course, he wasn't okay. He went to my aunt's house. There was one gun that wasn't locked up, and he shot himself. And you know, I was completely surprised and not a bit shocked, if that makes any sense. Because I could tell in those 3 weeks he never even stayed out at their house again. And he probably was feeling like a burden staying with everybody, even though he wasn't. But he was deep in grief, and he just couldn't go on. So yeah, that was 10 years ago today. And it's hard. There's harder times. It's not like today. It hasn't really been bad. It sometimes, you know, I'll be fine on these days, and then there'll just be a random day that I think of something, and it just, you know, it'll cause me to cry. And it's such a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And I'm not saying that like his grief for his wife was temporary, but it would get better. You know, that it's that extreme grief, like he didn't even know who he was. That's what he was still in, and I don't think he thought he was ever going to come out of it. But as I said, I wanted to just read one passage real quick. I think I forgot to mark it. One moment. Well, dang it. Let's see. Hold on, please. Oh, goodness. I'm sorry. I'm a scatterbrain. I had it open, but... Okay. It is Romans 10, verse 9 and through 13. So it says, if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. For it is by believing in your heart that you are made right with God, and it is by confessing with your mouth that you are saved. As the scriptures tell us, anyone who trusts in him will never be disgraced. Jew and Gentile are the same in this respect. A Gentile is just a non-Jewish person. They have the same Lord, who gives generously to all who call on him. For everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. And once you're saved, you can't lose that salvation. I mean, if you're truly accepted Christ, and I know my dad did. I know my dad's in heaven, and I will see him again. But what you notice in those passages I just read, it didn't say anything except, it didn't say except if you take your own life. I mean, it's a struggle, you know, but I know that he's in heaven, and he will be there when I get there. Hopefully not anytime soon. But anyway, I love you guys. And I hope you have a great day. Okay.